Imagine an empire that spanned Europe, Asia, and Africa, an empire that lasted over 6 centuries, from 1299 to 1922. Its heart was in modern Turkey, but its reach extended from Hungary to Egypt, and from Mecca to Algeria. The Ottomans ruled over a mosaic of cultures, languages, and religions, all under a single sultan. Their legacy rivals that of the Romans, Mongols, and British. Ottoman mosques still define Istanbul's skyline, and their art, poetry, and law shaped a civilization. Their armies were feared, their navies ruled the Mediterranean, and their empire bridged east and west. Understanding the Ottomans is key to understanding the modern Middle East and Balkans. Their story begins with humble warriors and ends with the birth of new nations. It's a tale of legendary leaders, epic battles, cultural brilliance, and a slow, complex decline. The Ottomans managed diversity for centuries, but internal and external pressures eventually unraveled their empire. We'll trace their rise from Anatolia, the conquest of Constantinople, daily life in the empire, and the reasons for their long success. Then, we'll follow their decline, the impact of World War I, and the enduring legacy they left behind. This is the story of ambition, faith, and the relentless march of history. The Ottoman Empire began as a small Turkish beylik in Anatolia, led by Osman I. In a land of rival chieftains, Osman's ambition and strategy set him apart. He focused on expanding into the weakening Byzantine Empire, avoiding costly conflicts with other Turkish rivals. His followers, the Ghazis, were drawn by promises of land, wealth, and religious purpose. Osman's son, Orhan, captured Bursa in 1326, making it the first Ottoman capital. The Ottomans were not just conquerors. They were skilled administrators, allowing religious tolerance in exchange for taxes. This pragmatic approach made their rule acceptable to diverse peoples. They built a professional army, the Janissaries, and quickly expanded into Europe, establishing a foothold in the Balkans. Victories like the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 cemented their power. Within a century, the Ottomans surrounded Constantinople, the last stronghold of the Byzantine Empire. Their rise from a minor principality to a powerful sultanate was swift and strategic. The stage was set for the conquest that would change world history. The fall of Constantinople was only a matter of time. By the mid-1400s, Constantinople was a shadow of its former glory, surrounded by Ottoman power. Sultan Mehmed II, young and ambitious, saw the city as both a strategic prize and a symbol of imperial destiny. In 1453, he launched a massive siege, using advanced cannons to breach the legendary Theodosian walls. The defenders, led by the last Byzantine emperor, fought bravely but were overwhelmed. Mehmed's forces famously dragged ships overland to outflank the city's defenses. After 53 days, the Ottomans stormed the city. The last emperor died fighting. The fall of Constantinople ended the Roman Empire and shocked the Christian world. Mehmed entered the Hagia Sophia, converting it into a mosque, and became known as Mehmed the Conqueror. Istanbul became the new Ottoman capital, a crossroads of continents and cultures. Mehmed repopulated the city, welcoming people from across his empire. The conquest marked a turning point, shifting power eastward and inspiring Europe's age of discovery. Life in the Ottoman Empire was a tapestry of cultures, faiths, and languages. The empire was organized by religion, not nationality, with Muslims ruling but millions of Christians and Jews living under the millet system. Each millet governed its own affairs, collecting taxes and managing internal matters, fostering both autonomy and coexistence. In cities like Istanbul, you'd hear Turkish, Greek, Armenian, Ladino, Arabic, and more, a true crossroads of civilizations. Educated Ottomans were often multilingual, reflecting the empire's diversity. The blending of Persian, Arab, and Turkic traditions created a unique high culture. Urban centers bustled with trade, from spices and silk to coffee and glassware. Bazaars, mosques, churches, synagogues, hammams, and coffee houses defined city life. The coffee house, an Ottoman innovation, became a hub for conversation, chess, and politics. This vibrant urban culture showcased the empire's wealth and sophistication. The Ottomans mastered the art of governing difference, creating a society unlike any other in their time. The Ottoman Empire's 6th-century reign was built on strong foundations. At the top stood the Sultan, supported by a merit-based bureaucracy led by the Grand Vizier. Talented individuals, regardless of background, could rise to power. The Janissaries, elite soldiers recruited through the Devshirme system, formed the backbone of the military. Their loyalty to the Sultan ensured stability and discipline. Control of trade routes brought immense wealth, funding armies and grand projects. The Ottomans dominated commerce between Europe and Asia, taxing luxury goods and controlling the Mediterranean. Pragmatic governance, like the millet system, allowed religious and cultural autonomy, reducing internal conflict. The empire was quick to adopt new technologies and ideas, staying resilient for centuries. This blend of strong leadership, military innovation, economic power, and flexibility kept the empire strong. The Ottomans' ability to adapt and integrate made them one of history's most enduring empires. Their system was a model of imperial longevity. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent's reign, from 1520 to 1566, was the Ottoman Golden Age. In Europe, he was feared as a conqueror. At home, he was revered as the lawgiver. Suleiman expanded the empire through brilliant military campaigns, conquering Belgrade, Rhodes, and much of Hungary. His armies twice besieged Vienna, and his navy, led by Barbarossa, dominated the Mediterranean. Suleiman was also a patron of the arts and architecture. His chief architect, Mimar Sinan, built masterpieces like the Suleymaniye and Selimiye mosques. Ottoman art, calligraphy, and ceramics flourished, creating a distinct style. Suleiman's legal reforms unified the empire's laws, blending Islamic tradition with practical governance. The Kanun Code brought stability and fairness to a diverse realm. Under Suleiman, the Ottomans reached their peak in power, culture, and prosperity. His era balanced military might, economic strength, and cultural brilliance. Suleiman's legacy defined the zenith of Ottoman civilization. After Suleiman, the Ottoman Empire began a slow, centuries-long decline. Leadership weakened as sultans became isolated and inexperienced, while palace intrigue and corruption grew. The Janissaries, once elite, resisted reform and became a political force, undermining military effectiveness. European rivals advanced in technology and tactics, while the Ottomans fell behind. Defeats at Lepanto and Vienna signaled a turning point. The empire shifted from expansion to defense. New sea routes to Asia bypassed Ottoman lands, draining trade revenue and causing economic crisis. Inflation and financial strain led to unrest and revolts. Nationalism spread among the empire's diverse peoples, sparking uprisings and wars in the Balkans. The millet system, once a source of stability, now struggled to contain competing identities. 19th century reforms like the Tanzimat tried to modernize the state, but change came too late. The empire lost territory and influence, unable to adapt to a rapidly changing world. The Ottoman decline was gradual, complex, and ultimately irreversible. By the early 1900s, the Ottoman Empire was called the sick man of Europe. The Young Turks seized power in 1908, aiming to modernize and centralize the state, but instability and war followed. The empire lost nearly all its European lands in the Balkan Wars. In World War I, the Ottomans joined the Central Powers, hoping to regain lost glory. The war was disastrous. Fought on multiple fronts, it devastated the economy and population. The Armenian genocide marked a tragic and controversial chapter, as the government targeted Armenians with mass deportations and killings. Millions died from war, famine, and disease. Defeated, the Ottomans signed a harsh armistice in 1918. Allied forces occupied Istanbul and Anatolia. The empire was carved up by the victors. Resistance grew under Mustafa Kemal, who led a successful war of independence. In 1922, the Ottoman Sultanate was abolished, ending over 6 centuries of imperial rule. The modern Republic of Turkey emerged from the empire's ashes. The Ottoman era was over, but its legacy would shape the region for generations. The Ottoman Empire's story is a lesson in the rise and fall of great powers. From a small principality, it became a world-spanning empire, shaping history for 6 centuries. Its strength lay in leadership, military innovation, economic control, and pragmatic governance. The empire's achievements in architecture, law, and administration still echo across its former lands. Its ability to manage diversity remains a remarkable historical feat. The decline was slow and complex, driven by internal weaknesses and external pressures. World War I shattered the old order, redrawing the map of the Middle East and Balkans. The collapse created new nations and conflicts that still shape the region. Under Ataturk, Turkey broke from its Ottoman past, but the empire's influence lingers. Ottoman legacies live on in Istanbul's mosques, Balkan cuisine, and Middle Eastern culture. The empire's history offers lessons on diversity, adaptation, and the cycles of civilization. The Ottomans created a unique world, cosmopolitan, complex, and enduring. Though the empire is gone, its shadow remains, shaping our world today.